Hello everybody. Welcome to my own little house. This is Mary Catherine. And I don't usually take you outside on the farm and talk about our little farmette very often because we don't really do anything with the property right now. But I thought I would show you something that happened today that we're really happy about. For years, this was a miniature horse farm. The previous owner had little ponies and horses. And so he had this whole pasture fenced in. Of course, the fence now is looking pretty rough. The posts a lot of them are in pretty bad shape. And we don't have any animals in this pasture, so we haven't really bothered to keep up the fencing. And in fact, we would like to take it down. We would like to take down this section here and this long line of fencing there. Now there was a gate here until just a little bit ago, and a nice couple that live nearby came and took this gate away, and I'll show you where the other one is too. I guess they decided not to take this latch, which is fine. But they took the gate, and that'll just save us some trouble later. Some of you may remember that last summer when our son and daughter-in-law were here, they did so much work on the property, but they took out a piece of fencing that went here. It just makes it so much easier with the mowing if you can get through places. So they took that down, and there was a really long, about a 10-foot farm gate here. And when we took down this fencing, the post that the gate was attached to rotted and fell over, and then the whole gate fell over. And so today that couple took this gate away as well, I'm really happy to say. And so we won't have to bother with trying to get rid of those gates this summer. We'll be able to just concentrate on the fencing. I just looked down and discovered a lovely piece of old man's beard lichen. Don't know what its official name is. Isn't that nice? This is our great big pine tree. We have a lot of skinny pine trees, but this is our one really big, beautiful one. And it's putting out all of its candles now. Aren't those amazing? Really beautiful. So interesting looking. They leave so much pollen on our cars, but it's really beautiful. And we got tons of little baby pine trees coming up everywhere, but they get mowed down. So it's definitely spring now. It is full-blown spring. What a beautiful day. I think it's in the upper 70s today. And yesterday I was out in my old garden. Let me show you what I did. There's not much left out here in our old garden. I've got some elderberry trees, a rosemary, and a little asparagus patch. But one thing I've been trying to do is clean up my elderberry trees because they're starting to leaf out again, and I just want to keep their little beds clear. This one I did a month or so ago, but these two I did yesterday. Now I didn't mess very much with this over here. That's a fire ant hill. Oh, let me get out of the way. And boy, fire ants are mean, mean, mean. If you just poke them a little bit, they start to come out, and boy, will they bite you. This one looks a bit better. They're probably about 4 feet tall. This little rosemary bush has struggled over the years. I'm not really sure why. It gets more sun out here and better drainage. It does have some competition from grass, but it seems to be surviving. Now this is an old bed, and here in the middle is a tire that I put around the best part of our old asparagus bed. There's a couple coming up there, another one there, and there's some bigger ones in there too. Well, you can tell I'm back in the little greenhouse. very little greenhouse. I thought I would show you what's happening with my plants so far this spring. I've had mixed success and failure with my seedlings. So successes first, I think. This is my lettuce. Looks like it's doing pretty well. This is a lettuce mix, as you can tell. It's got various things going on. It's not very big yet, but they're getting there. Some of them have gotten bashed a bit by rain or watering or whatever, or wind. But most of them look pretty good. So that's the first thing. Everything else I have out here in the sun. It's been lovely and warm. Now my peas are miserable. Seriously. All of this was peas, and I had these two come up, and they're a little spindly looking. I have one other one, and I just put it into this pot. These were little jonquils that came up and got zapped by the cold, and I don't think they're going to do anything, so I'm going to just leave them in the pot for next year. But I'm going to let this sweet pea grow up on this stake. Out here, I just put in some basil, but it looked pretty sad in its packet. These are onions that are doing rather indifferently. Those are all peas. They're probably not going to happen. I did some more peas yesterday. We'll see what they do. And this is a little bit of catnip here. I got that on a whim for the cats. We'll see if it comes up. I'm just not sure. I don't have a very good green thumb. I really don't. So we'll have to see how these things do. Well, it's time to start another quilt. This is going to be for a baby girl. And I am hunting among all my scraps for fabrics that are kind of little baby girlish. And that's a bit more of a challenge, I think, than I was banking on. They don't have to be pink. I'm just going to put aside anything that looks possible. I do want the blueberries because this baby's grandparents have a blueberry farm. So I'm going to do that. But I just want it to look a little bit like a little girl. So we're going to be, and I want the colors to kind of go together. I don't know, boy, that looks kind of fun. So we will go through these and pick out the best ones. Oh, definitely flamingos. I hope we find more flamingos. These are more scraps rather than strips. Oh, that's kind of fun. Okay, nothing Christmassy. That looks really fun. More flamingos. It's a little purple. Oh, this might not be so bad after all. I may not even need to go look in any other boxes. This is a good sized tub. So maybe I can find everything I need in here. All right. Well, that was fun. Now I have laid out all the different fabrics here, except for I'm keeping this one separate because I know I'm using that one. And I'm just trying to look at how I think these colors might go together. I'm just not sure about that checkery red, although I do like it. I feel like this very light pastel floral will be just kind of a background, or not a background, but just an extra to lighten it, because some of these tones are just so rich with color. But I do think they might work because I've got a little bit of very colorful blue. I've got various tones of pink. I've got some purple that I'd like to bring out to, not quite sure about this, but this gives a touch of green that picks up this one a little bit, and even this and this. I think, especially when I start to quilt it up, and I don't know if I'm going to do a log cabin or something else. Not quite sure. But I do think once I start piecing it together that the pieces will meld better. The only one that jumps out at me is this, but I'm hoping that that will work. Well, and that. Yeah, I think the red's going to have to go. Soon my Lady Banks rose will be full of yellow blooms. So here is the last daffodil dye fiber. It's a beautiful soft yellow. No more of that until this time next year. I have been reworking my pots, adding some soil, some potting soil, and fluffing the dirt up. Here's a few more. We'll all end up back here. There's another one. Here's a couple more. These will all be full of impatiens all summer long, just like last year. Well, the last 2 years. I really like that. So that's what's happening on the rather sad looking back deck right now, but it'll be prettier here in a month or so. After sorting through these fabrics and after thinking about it overnight, I decided that I would cut all these fabrics in either 3x3 blocks or 3x6 blocks. And I want to have an assortment of larger blocks that have a 6x3 on one side and two 3x3s on the other side in a blend of fabrics. And then I'm going to piece those together. I've seen floor, formica kind of stuff, floor tiles like this as well. And I think it'll be a fun pattern. And then I have lots of 2x2 strips that I pulled out, but of course they're not big enough, but they'd be great for a binding. So I'm going to save those, especially the flamingos, the things that are pink. So anyway, that's the progress I've made on this little quilt. I have like the whole summer to work on this, so it's not a hurry, but it sure is fun to be back at the sewing machine. It's time to make soap again. These are my 3 oils. This is canola oil, coconut oil, and all vegetable shortening. Here are my 3 molds. There's my little mixer. And over here I've got lilac fragrance oil, lavender essential oil, and tea tree essential oil. And those are the 3 flavors or scents, not flavors. We're not going to eat this soap. And I've got my lye mixture out on the back deck to keep it away from the cats. And we'll be blending them together soon. Okay, this is the lilac. Boy, I can smell it from here. I love the smell of lilac, and we can't grow them. We can't grow lilac here because it's not cold enough. A lot of little shards on the edges. That's a nice firm bar of soap. That's I guess they call it a log of soap. Okay, let me see here. That's the lavender. That's definitely the tea tree. It is really nice to have this much handmade soap in your house. It's so gentle on your skin. So much better for you. Okay, well, anyway, there's a nice solid log of soap. This is altogether about 7 pounds of soap in this batch. So that, and I cut them up into about 5 ounce bars. So you can figure out how many bars that'll get you. I'll see you next week with more from the studio. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.